I, 28F, never thought I would be writing this post, but recent events have left me with no choice. My husband Mark passed away last year in a terrible car accident, leaving me to raise our 3-year-old daughter Emma alone. What happened after his death has completely destroyed my relationship with my sister Amy. Mark and I met during our freshman year of college. He was studying engineering, and I was in business school. We started dating after being paired up for a joint project between our departments. Mark was the kindest person I knew, always helping others and putting our family first. After graduation, he got a job at a big tech company while I decided to be a stay-at-home mom after Emma was born. Growing up, Amy was always my parents' favorite. Being the younger one, she got away with everything. When she dropped out of college to start a beauty salon, my parents supported her decision and even gave her startup money. When the salon failed 6 months later, they helped her pay off the debts. Meanwhile, I worked part-time jobs through college to pay my own way. Despite their favoritism toward Amy, my parents really liked Mark. He helped them renovate their house, fixed their car problems, and even helped Amy set up her salon's accounting system. They treated him like their own son, which sometimes made Amy jealous. She'd make snide comments about how perfect Mark was and how she could never find a guy like him. Mark and I were careful with our finances. He took out a life insurance policy worth $500,000 when Emma was born, saying he wanted to make sure we'd be okay if anything happened to him. We had just bought a house and were planning to have another baby when the accident happened. He was driving home from work when a drunk driver hit his car. The other driver survived, but Mark died at the scene. After the funeral, I was barely functioning. Taking care of a toddler while dealing with grief was overwhelming. Amy offered to move in with me, saying she wanted to help. She took care of Emma when I couldn't get out of bed, cooked meals, and handled phone calls with the insurance company. I was grateful to have her support during those dark days. 3 months after Mark's death, I got a call from the insurance company asking about some paperwork they'd received. Confused, I logged into my account and was shocked to see that someone had already claimed and withdrawn the entire amount. The bank investigation showed that Amy had somehow accessed my account and forged my signature on multiple documents. When I confronted Amy, she completely broke down. Through her tears, she admitted she had a gambling addiction and owed money to some dangerous people. She'd been visiting underground casinos and taking loans from loan sharks. She begged me not to go to the police, saying these people had threatened to hurt her if she didn't pay. She promised to get help and return every penny. I was stunned. While I knew Amy was irresponsible with money, I never imagined she'd steal from her own sister, especially knowing the money was meant for her niece's future. The betrayal hurt more because I had trusted her completely during my most vulnerable time. Our parents got involved when Amy called them crying. They came to my house and spent hours trying to convince me to handle this privately within the family. They said Amy needed help, not jail time. When I insisted on going to the police, my dad got angry and said I was being selfish. He said Amy could get hurt by these loan sharks if she didn't pay them back. My mom cried and begged me to think about family loyalty. She reminded me how Amy had helped me after Mark's death, as if that somehow justified stealing my daughter's future. When I remained firm about involving the police, my dad threatened to cut all contact with me and Emma. He said they wouldn't support a daughter who'd send her own sister to jail. I feel like I'm living in a twisted reality where I'm somehow the bad guy for wanting justice. The money wasn't just about me, it was what Mark worked hard to provide for our daughter's future. Amy not only stole from me but also from her 3-year-old niece who lost her father. Everyone keeps telling me to think about Amy's safety and mental health, but what about Emma's security? What about the fact that my own sister took advantage of my grief to steal from us? I know Reddit usually suggests therapy, but right now I'm too angry to even consider that. Ida, if I report my sister to the police even though it might permanently destroy my relationship with my family? Update when it's been 2 weeks since my original post. First, I want to thank everyone who supported my decision to go to the police. Your comments helped me stay strong when I was doubting myself. After filing the police report, things got even worse than I imagined. The investigation revealed that Amy's betrayal wasn't a desperate last-minute decision. She had been planning this for months before Mark's death. The detective assigned to my case found that Amy had gone through all my personal documents while staying with me. She systematically searched my home office when I was sleeping or too grief-stricken to notice. They found her fingerprints on Mark's insurance documents that were stored in my filing cabinet. She had even taken photos of all my important papers and ID cards. What made me physically sick was discovering that she had been watching me type my phone password for weeks. The police found notes in her phone where she had written down my banking passwords and security questions. She had used my phone at night while I was sleeping to install a keylogger app that recorded everything I typed. The investigation also uncovered something that broke my heart completely. Amy had been sending anonymous messages to Mark for months before his death. She created fake social media accounts and sent him proof that I was cheating on him. She photoshopped pictures of me with random men and sent them to him. The police found all these edited photos on her laptop. Mark never mentioned these messages to me. When the detective showed me Mark's phone records, I saw that he had blocked all these fake accounts without ever confronting me about them. He trusted me so completely that he didn't even think to question our relationship. Finding this out destroyed me all over again. The gambling addiction was worse than anyone knew. Amy didn't just owe money to loan sharks, she had taken out multiple credit cards in our parents' names. She used their social security numbers and personal information to apply for these cards. The total fraud amount is close to $100,000. When confronted with all this evidence, Amy finally confessed everything to the police. She admitted that she started planning the insurance fraud after overhearing Mark talk about increasing his life insurance coverage last year. She said she was desperate because her gambling debts were getting out of control. My parents' reaction to all this has been infuriating. Even after seeing proof of Amy's elaborate planning and manipulation, they're still defending her. My mom called me crying, saying Amy had a mental breakdown in jail. She blamed me for not understanding that Amy was sick and needed help, not punishment. My dad hasn't spoken to me directly but sent a long email saying I've destroyed the family. He claims that if anything happens to Amy in jail, it will be my fault. He even suggested that Mark would have forgiven Amy if he was alive, using my dead husband to manipulate me. The worst revelation came from my Aunt Sarah, Mom's sister. She told me that several family members knew about Amy's gambling problem. Apparently, she had stolen jewelry from our grandmother last year and pawned it to pay gambling debts. The family covered it up and replaced the jewelry to avoid upsetting Grandma. Sarah said she wanted to warn me when Amy moved in with me, but everyone convinced her not to add to my stress while I was grieving. The family's excuse was that they didn't want to cause drama during my time of mourning. Their silence enabled Amy to steal even more. The insurance company is doing their own investigation into the fraud. Their initial review shows that Amy forged multiple documents and even impersonated me on phone calls to their customer service. They've assured me that I'll get the money back eventually, but the process could take months. Emma keeps asking about her Aunt Amy and why she doesn't visit anymore. How do you explain to a 3-year-old that her aunt stole the money her daddy left for her? Every time she asks, I feel the betrayal all over again. I've had to hire a lawyer to handle everything because it's become too overwhelming. The lawyer discovered that Amy also tried to change the beneficiary on some of Mark's other policies but failed because they required in-person verification. My parents have completely cut contact with me and Emma. They've been telling everyone that I'm cruel and unforgiving, that I chose money over family. They don't seem to understand that this isn't just about money, it's about Amy betraying my trust when I was at my most vulnerable, trying to destroy my marriage before Mark died, and stealing from her own niece. Right now, Amy is in jail awaiting trial. Her court-appointed lawyer is trying to get her a plea deal by claiming she has a gambling addiction and needs rehabilitation instead of jail time. I've instructed my lawyer to fight against any lenient deals. After discovering the extent of her planning and manipulation, I want her to face full consequences for her actions. I know this update is heavy, but I needed to share how deep this betrayal goes. Some relatives are still pressuring me to drop the charges, saying jail won't help Amy's mental health. But I keep thinking about how she watched me grieve while knowing she was stealing from us, how she tried to destroy my marriage, and how she betrayed not just me but also her niece. I can't forgive that. Update 2-3 months have passed since my last update. The court proceedings against Amy have revealed even more shocking details that have completely changed my family dynamics. During the trial, the prosecutor presented evidence that Amy had stolen much more than we initially discovered. The investigation into her finances revealed she had taken almost $50,000 from our parents' retirement savings. She used their personal information to access their accounts and gradually transferred money to herself over 6 months. She'd also maxed out 3 credit cards in their names, racking up over $75,000 in gambling debts at various casinos. What's truly disturbing is that Amy kept meticulous records of all her thefts. The police found a notebook where she tracked every account she had access to, including passwords and security questions. She even had a schedule of when to make withdrawals to avoid detection. The level of planning shows this wasn't just addiction, it was calculated theft. The most painful revelation came from one of Mark's co-workers who testified in court. He revealed that Amy had been messaging him too, trying to get dirt on Mark. She wanted him to lie to me about Mark having an affair at work. The co-worker showed screenshots where Amy offered him $5,000 to help her break up my marriage. Thankfully, he refused and had kept the messages as evidence. Our parents finally had to face the truth when they testified in court. They broke down when confronted with bank statements showing how Amy had systematically drained their retirement fund. My mom couldn't stop crying when she realized that the money they thought they were spending on Amy's business ventures was actually going to casinos. The judge was particularly harsh with Amy because of her deliberate targeting of family members. She got sentenced to 5 years in prison for multiple counts of fraud, identity theft, and grand larceny. She'll also have to pay restitution to all her victims, including our parents. After the sentencing, my parents tried to apologize to me. They sent a long letter admitting they had been blind to Amy's manipulation for years. They confessed that she had stolen from them before, but they always covered it up, thinking they were protecting her. Now they've lost their retirement savings and their relationship with both daughters. I've used some of the insurance money to hire a lawyer to get a restraining order against Amy. When she gets out of prison, she won't be allowed near me or Emma. The lawyer is also helping me set up a trust for Emma's college fund so no one can access it except me. My parents keep trying to rebuild our relationship, but I'm not ready. They've shown up at my house several times with gifts for Emma, crying and begging for forgiveness. While I understand they're victims too, I can't forget how they threatened to cut contact with their granddaughter to protect Amy. They chose to believe her lies over supporting their grieving daughter and granddaughter. The extended family is divided. Some understand my position and have cut contact with Amy completely. Others think I'm being too harsh and should forgive her since she's family and is now getting help for her addiction. A few relatives even suggested I should help pay for Amy's legal fees since I'm financially stable now that I have the insurance money back. Emma's starting to understand more about what happened. She overheard me talking to my lawyer and asked if Aunt Amy was a bad person who took Daddy's money. I tried to explain it in terms a 3-year-old could understand, telling her that Aunt Amy made bad choices and had to go away for a while to learn to make better ones. The insurance company finally finished their investigation and released Mark's insurance money to me. They've also pressed additional charges against Amy for insurance fraud. I've used part of the money to buy a new house in a different neighborhood because our old place had too many painful memories. Sometimes I still can't believe how much damage Amy caused to our entire family. She didn't just steal money, she tried to destroy my marriage, betrayed everyone's trust, and tore our family apart. The worst part is that she showed no real remorse during the trial. Her only concern seemed to be getting a lighter sentence. Several of Mark's friends have reached out after learning the full story in court. They told me about other times Amy had tried to create problems in our marriage, but Mark had always brushed it off to keep peace in the family. Learning about these past incidents has made me even more certain that cutting all ties with Amy was the right decision. Update 3. It's been 6 months since my last update, and a lot has changed. Amy sent me a letter from prison last month. She wrote that she's joined a gambling addiction program and is getting help. She claims she thinks about her actions every day and deeply regrets hurting me and Emma. The letter went on about how much she misses being an aunt and hopes that someday I can forgive her. She included some drawings she made for Emma and asked if I could show them to her. I threw everything in the trash. Her words mean nothing to me anymore, especially after everything that came out during the trial. My parents haven't given up trying to reunite the family. They show up at my house unannounced, call from different numbers when I block them, and even try to reach me through my work. They keep saying that Amy is really changing in prison and that family should stick together no matter what. My mom sent me photos of Amy in her prison uniform looking sad, thinking it would make me feel sympathetic. Last week, they crossed a line by going to Emma's preschool. They tried to see her during pickup time, but thankfully the school had my instructions not to let anyone except me near her. I had to get my lawyer involved and send them a cease and desist letter. Now they're telling everyone that I'm using their granddaughter to punish them. Some of my cousins reached out saying I should give my parents another chance since they lost both their retirement savings and their daughters. They think I'm being cruel by keeping Emma away from her grandparents. One aunt even suggested that Mark would want Emma to have a relationship with her grandparents. I'm sick of people using my dead husband to manipulate me. I've moved to a different city 2 hours away to start fresh. I bought a small house in a nice neighborhood with good schools for Emma. The distance has made it harder for my family to show up unexpectedly. I only communicate with them through my lawyer regarding any legal matters about Amy's restitution payments. The insurance money is safely invested for Emma's future. I've started an online business selling handmade jewelry, something I used to do as a hobby when Mark was alive. It lets me work from home and spend more time with Emma. She's adjusted well to our new life and doesn't ask about Amy anymore. Some days I feel sad about losing my entire family, but then I remember how they all chose to enable Amy's behavior for years. They covered up her thefts, made excuses for her actions, and expected me to do the same. Even now, they're more concerned about Amy's feelings in prison than about what she did to her niece's future. The detective who handled my case called recently to warn me that Amy might be eligible for early release in a few years if she maintains good behavior. I've already told my lawyer to make sure the restraining order stays in place. I don't care if she's changed or not, she'll never be part of our lives again. Mark's parents have been incredibly supportive through everything. They regularly visit us in our new home and have become the grandparents Emma deserves. They understand why I had to cut ties with my family and never pressure me about forgiveness or reconciliation. My life is peaceful now without the constant drama and manipulation from my family. Emma is happy and thriving in her new school. Sometimes people tell me I should forgive Amy and my parents for my own peace of mind, but I already have peace. What I don't have is trust in them anymore, and I never will again.